Hi everyone, it's Lonnie, and today we're playing with spackling. There it is. This is lightweight spackling, and my husband picked it up at Walmart for me. I've seen texture paste recipes online, and I tried a couple, but I didn't like how they were sitting. They were a little on the wet side for my liking as well. They were buckling my papers, and so I wanted to try something different, and this seems to work really well for me. So I am starting with bases of 4x6 index card size, and I'm using craft paper. And on one side I want a design, and on the other side I want to put the psalm. I want to also put this psalm on the back. I mean, you could leave it blank and use it for journaling space, but this is just what I decided I wanted to do. I suggest doing the back first. With the sample I will show you later, it wasn't very flat, so that's why I suggest doing it this way. Then if you need to write on it or do something on the back, it will be easier if it's flatter. Today's I'm going to try and get flat. We'll see which stencil I pick, because that will determine that. Also, the cardstock I have here has different textures on each side, and I want the spackling to go on that side, so I am just making sure to get my text on the other side. I was gonna wait to do this video until I had my proper stencils, but I don't know how long they're gonna take exactly. Didn't realize they were ordered from China, so who knows? That could be today, it could be in a month from now. So I decided to go ahead with some of my stencils that I made on my Cricut, and this one's a little bit off center. Okay, I think they're all pretty much flat as can be. I did round my corners, as you can see. Not necessary. Alright, so then probably the hardest part of this whole thing is opening the lid. I've had this one open a couple of times already, so try not to break my nails. Okay, so this is actually already an older bottle, so it might not be as fluffy as the new stuff, but it still works for me. Also, I have an example to show you later where I added some paint to change the color a bit. Kind of uncertain whether I want to add color this time. Maybe I do just a little bit. Now this does dry fairly quickly, so I probably should have picked out the stencil I'm going to use first. So because this is being mixed into white, and I just basically want it off white, I'm just adding the tiniest little bit of paint This is light brown, and this is dollar store paint, so I'm just gonna work it in. Looks a little orange at first, but so yeah, I've seen a few people, I've watched a few videos on how people do this. Like I said, I made a couple of recipes. I tried one with baking soda, glue, and paint. I tried one with cornstarch, cornstarch, glue, and paint. And they seem to work okay to a point. But like I said, they were, well, one of them, which one was it? I think it was a cornstarch one. I have to keep messing with the recipe because I couldn't get it to become nice and smooth. So I added paint and then I added glue, and still it wasn't right. So that was just a lot of messing around. And then the baking soda one, I think I liked that one, but it buckled my paper, so anyways, you gotta do what works, and sometimes you gotta just keep trying different things. So here I am with the spackling. Alright, so stencil. Alright, so I'm going to read the psalm, see if I get a hint as to what kind of stencil. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. Selah. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. The nations rage, the kingdoms totter. He utters his voice, the earth melts. The God of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord, how he has brought desolations on the earth. He makes wars cease to the end of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Selah. That's Psalm 46 from the English Standard Version 2011. Alright, so I was thinking of the works. Don't really have any mountains or anything that looks like a river in my stencils. However, I do have a couple things that might be fun to try. And this one is getting caught in everything already, so I think that one's probably a little bit on the loose side. And you'll find out what that means as I go here. That's a vine. I got some roses. Got some puzzle pieces. I'm trying to get into something a little smaller. Another vine. That's a sunflower. That might be fun to try. I'll see if I can get something a little different. I'm trying to find one that will kind of hold together, and that might just be this one. It won't quite fit on there, but so this will be representative of a work. If we look at it just right, we might see the makings of some splashes or waves. And let's see, do I need to tape this onto something? The last one I just held down when I did it, but I don't have a lot of time this morning, but I wanted to do a little something at least. And I'm not quite sure how this painter's tape will work on my cardstock. And then this. I really enjoy this. And too, you could also paint on top later if you didn't want to paint at the beginning. And I'm just going to do it on 3 corners, like so. All right, so there is my lid is my palette. And we want to go flat. So what you could actually do if you didn't want to use that, if you wanted to use something like a credit card or old Tim's card, something, this might give us better control. So you can kind of schlep across the stencil. I think you can kind of see it too, how thick or how thin it is. Now this does take a while to dry, so I need to keep that in mind. All right, I think I'm happy with that. I don't need to necessarily get it to the edge. So that's one. I might add some color to it later, or maybe some gold touches. I'm not sure. Haven't got that all figured out yet, but that's pretty flat yet. So need to lay it on a flat surface so that it won't buckle. Now mind you, I've also got glue on the other side a little bit, so. All right, so that's one. And it looks pretty clean still, so that's great. Liking that. I think I'm just gonna glue this down. And do another one. And two, when I have it mixed, I like to use as much of it up as I can, because if it hardens on you, it won't be usable again. So I'm basically just filling in everything I want filled in and then scraping the card so that it's, I mean, I want something left in there. I think if I scrape it too much, it'll actually take out some of the but you could also go quite thick, which I don't want to do today. Alright, so I will be back after I do a couple more of these. And we'll see what we do from there. Nice. This one's a little thicker. Alright, so I finished all my cards and I still had so much left. I started wondering, okay, what else can I do? So I decided to try it on just regular cardstock. I picked a black to see how I would like that. Missed a little bit there. That's okay. We'll swipe it up right away. I got different effects. I decided to switch over to my sunflower, and I seem to like that better. Two, if you don't have any stencils at all, I was thinking there might still be a way we could do, and I will get into that as soon as I make a few more sunflowers. I thought this might make a good might make good paper for a journal. I have all the papers I need for my current journals, but at the same time I could add more inserts, so not quite sure. I'm just starting to scratch the surface. No pun intended. But I see a lot of possibilities with this. And the stencil stays fairly clean. And right now I'm just holding it with my fingers because I was moving it so much. Didn't want the tape to get stuck to the paper, so yeah, after this dries, you could paint it with acrylics, or I probably wouldn't recommend watercolors because of the water content, but because this is the stuff you put on walls and you can paint over that, so but yeah, you could, I mean, I haven't tried to make it darker. I've only added color to lighten, you know, to make light colors. I haven't tried to, and two, you have to watch how the stencil reacts with the spackling, because I think I have, okay, that's not bad. In some places here, the stencil is, what do you call it? It's sticking up. So when I go over it, I was thinking I might be getting spackling where I didn't want it. And I'm not saying I didn't get any at all where I didn't want it, but so far so good. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of, you know, deformity. That's what when you do something by hand, you're gonna get some kind of. Alright, so let's try one more. Maybe I'll try this, a thicker one. But yeah, you could even make different colors of the spackling. I've only just made off-white or tan, you know, creamy color, because I didn't want it stark white. But this color is pretty light too. I didn't get it quite as antique-ish looking as I wanted, but that's okay. Alright, so that's another one. That one is a little bit thicker, and if you get it too thick, you could always sand a little bit off. I think I'm just gonna try something on the side here. Hopefully that'll work. You can wipe it off if you still do it when it's wet. I would recommend having some tissue paper, or, well, I did have. Where did I put it? I had a baby wipe. Of course, it's under all the stencils now. Okay, so wipe it up while it's still wet. Okay, so I got half one there. I might just put the other half over here so it'll be a little offset. And it is buckling a little bit, but I'm hoping it will be all right. Let's see, just, it's gonna be kind of hard to do over here because of the edge of the table. And yes, I could have put something down if I had thought of it. Try not to go too far. Okay, so that I would call, oops. Okay, I put it on upside down, so now I goobered it up. Let's see if I can maybe scrape some of it off. Yeah, that's kind of too bad. I got it upside down. And didn't notice it in time. So that's one downfall I have to watch out for, I guess. But somehow we could probably still make it work. And if you will notice over here where it's pretty thin, it's kind of looking like gray. So now I have a gradient from, you know, light to darker, which actually looks kind of cool. If I didn't want that, I would have to make it thicker all over the place to get a consistent color like that over there. But for experimental sake, I think this turned out really well. And two, I could always just use part of the paper. I don't have to use the whole thing if I don't want. I'm glad I buggered up at the side there and not in the middle of the page. Alright, so I'm going to put this aside. And yeah, it's, you know, it's not terribly wet. It's still fairly firm. So while I was grabbing the blue, I was thinking for Christmas cards or New Year's cards. You could do like snowflakes. And if you have no stencils at all, you might have a doily. And if you have no doily, you might be able to cut one like we used to cut snowflakes in elementary school. I wasn't the only one that did that, right? We did that in school, I think. Alright, so I still have so much of this. A little goes a long way. Alright, so here I'm going to just try it. See how it goes. We are playing today. And two, depending on how rough I am with this doily, whoops, I moved it. It stuck to my finger. Trying to get it back in the... I don't know how well this will work because the paper is fairly flimsy. It wants to stick to the card. You probably have to secure it down somehow. Anyway, so that's one. You can see it's smudged a bit. It looks a little wonky, but it's an alright place to start if you don't have any stencils. I'm gonna do one more over here. I think taping it down probably wouldn't work very well. Try to hold it down with my finger or the card. That's not bad. You can do a few with one doily until it rips, I guess. Did I do it again? I did. For some reason I keep wanting to put the wrong side down. Two bigger doilies might work better because the edge of the doily here is showing up a bit. I will try and do as many as I can with this doily, and then I will show you what I've already done before. I really do like that sunflower though. I'm more anxious now for my actual stencils to arrive. I would probably cut these out and then I'm not sure what. Maybe make pockets out of them. If I try one more over here. I won't do the whole. I have Tim Hortons cards. We were given so many, well, we were given a few at Christmas, and we've been slowly enjoying them up. Which works out for me because then I can use them. Alright, so that's pretty much that doily done. It's getting a little too flimsy. Alright, so then, because I'm not going to be washing my stencils right away, I will, actually this one's pretty clean. I'm going to probably use that again after I finish here. But this one, I need to put in some water just to keep it from drying. That's what I have there. Okay, so that's out of the way. So yeah, there's that. And I think that would make like a nice flower if you just cut around the outside. And then maybe you could put it on top of another doily and then it would just look two-dimensional or look like something else was going on there. Alright, so I'm going to put this aside. Then I want to show you the original that I was playing with. And that was feathers. I was playing with feathers. So I have the 4x6 card with the Psalm 46 on it. And then on the other side, I did feathers. Now I was still experimenting. I thought it had to be thicker, so these are quite thick. And I'm thinking of probably giving them some gold touches. But they're pretty solid. I mean, I did this one a few days ago. It doesn't seem to be coming off. There were a few crumbs that were a little bit loose. And if I sat here and picked at it, I probably could get some more off. But for the most part, it looks pretty stable. I mean, we're not supposed to pick at stuff, right? But too, it's really thick, so it would be alright if I came in and just, you know, flattened it out a little bit. I tried to actually get a line in the middle to get the line of the feather, but it didn't always work. Okay, so that's one I did, and then again I just totally worked on feathers. So this one, it's a little smaller, but it's the same idea. And then I had some backgrounds ready, so then I tried one on there. This one's really thick. I would probably not call that a great success, and I even might try sanding that one down a bit. Then I tried something on cardboard. I had picked off one edge or one side of the cardboard paper, and I put some homemade gesso on it, which is basically glue with paint and some water. And have to be careful not to put too much on because that will warp your cardboard. But then I tried the feathers on top of the gesso, and it looks kind of cool. I think if I did it again, I would probably do a darker color for some contrast, but I really like this idea. And then because I still had a journal that I'm working on, and I needed something for the cover. I did this, and I love it. And I have feathers on both sides, and I love them all. And I think that is gonna be so cool. I am hoping that the person who receives this just loves it as much as I do. And maybe they won't, but I sure had fun making all this stuff. So that's what I wanted to do with you today, and I want to just encourage you all to have some fun today and play. The days are evil, and we can't get bogged down in all the negativity. So have some fun, enjoy yourselves, and meditate on the Word of God. And remember, God always keeps His promises. Alright, so I added some paint, and I couldn't walk away, and I wanted to show this to you yet. Book page. Yep, it's thick. I like it. Figure out what to do with it later. And I made a mess because I went over the page. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.